Funding for the production of Challenge Yourself has been provided by NANA Regional Corporation, Cook Inlet Region Incorporated, the Siri Foundation, and by the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation. It is early June on the Yukon River in Alaska, and the Nicholas family of Caltag is heading upriver to its summer fish camp. Sharon Nicholas, the oldest child in the family, will leave Caltag at the end of this summer, the first person in her family to enter a university. She will leave her small village of 250. She will leave the extended family and community she has known all her life and travel more than 300 miles to the University of Alaska, Fairbanks. But thanks to a unique educational bridge program, the Rural Alaska Honors Institute, known to everyone as Rawhide, she will be prepared. Her first experience living outside Caltag has already occurred. As part of Rawhide, she has lived on a college campus. She has completed university-level classroom work taught by university professors. She has lived in a dormitory with a roommate. Sharon Nicholas feels prepared for her university experience. While Sharon Nicholas is with her family on the Yukon River, rural high school students from all across Alaska are converging on Fairbanks. The top high school students from 9 different native cultures are coming to the Rural Alaska Honors Institute, Rawhide, to immerse themselves in urban university life. They have come to take up the Rawhide Challenge.
I wanted to go to Rawhide because I knew it was going to help me, and I wanted to see what kind of classes they offered and the difference between their classes and how they were taught from the classes I took in high school and how they were taught. And I found out that they were very different, and you really have to learn how to manage your time. You can't fall behind. You have to keep up. You have to keep pushing yourself. I want to go to college because I don't want to have to go through what my parents and my relatives went through when they were growing up. I want a successful job, but at the same time, I want to feel comfortable with it.
During the first week, I said to myself, what am I doing here? I was scared, frightened. I thought that it would be too hard for me to keep up with the work that I was receiving from my classes, because I was receiving a lot of homework, and I never thought that I would even make it through 1 week of Rawhide. But I soon found out that I was capable of doing what everybody was doing before I came here, the previous students who attended Rawhide.
I wanted to challenge myself and see what college was like and prepare myself to go into higher education. I get to meet a lot of friends, enjoy the time here, but Rawhide is really challenging us students from rural Alaska.
I decided to come to Rawhide because my superintendent, he introduced it to me about a little bit what the program is about, and he said that to help prepare me for what college is pretty much like. And I'm looking forward to going on to school. I thought that this would help very much, so I decided to come.
Rural Alaskan young people grow up in communities which even today express values of cooperation and support that are very different from Western urban life. How can students from native villages learn to live in both worlds? The Rural Alaska Honors Institute helps build a bridge between native life and a culture that is very much unlike the village back home. Carol Lee Go teaches mathematics at Lathrop High School in Fairbanks.
Well, I think the greatest challenge that these students face when they come here is the adjustment. Not only the adjustment of coming to a place that's far away from home. Many of them, it's their first experience away from home. That feeling of homesickness probably hits them at first, and Also, the other thing, the big adjustment is the workload that we give them. We expect them to do 2 hours out of class for every hour in class. And to a lot of them, that is a new awakening.
My hometown, Kotlik, is a small village of about 400 people. We have a high school and an elementary school. The disadvantages there is we don't have running water, we don't have roads. You really don't have to worry about anything, any criminal violence there because it's so small. I mean, you can walk freely and enjoy the view and live.
Unfortunately, for rural Alaskan students, a lot of problems are concentrated in each student. Problems of meeting new people, problems of going out of the village for the first time, problems of learning what competition is. And any one of those problems, in fact, can really lead to poor performance. So all are being worked on in Rawhigh, at least to indicate to them, this is where you're weak and this is what you want to do.
When I come to Fairbanks, a lot of people here at Fairbanks only see one side of the natives. They see the alcoholism, the broken families, but there's a rich amount of knowledge in the traditional ways of the villages that some people are still following that is really positive in the villages. The traditions of generosity and sharing and being friendly to visitors, in some ways they're in touch with their past in a much deeper way than we are, and there are advantages to that in the way they live. And I see that as one of the reasons there's homesickness when they come here and they're no longer related to everyone. They don't know their place in a big city. And people here do not work in the same spirit of cooperation, togetherness that some of the villages out there do work in.
But why do university and high school teachers take time away from summer vacations and demanding research requirements to spend 6 weeks with Honors Institute students? Oscar Coagley was one of the first native graduates of the University of Alaska. He later received a master's degree in education. He has worked throughout Alaska as a teacher and administrator. At Rawhigh, he teaches a course on the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act.
The motivation that I have for teaching in Rawhigh is that because most of the students are going to be native students, that if we're going to be working for the benefit of the students, there ought to be native instructors involved. And so for that reason, I've opted to come here to the campus instead of going out to the Bethel area and enjoying myself at the fish camp.
Dr. Robert Speck is head of the Department of Mining and Geological Engineering at the University of Alaska, Fairbanks. He teaches the Earth Science Engineering specialty course.
I'm teaching in Rawhigh for a number of different reasons. One of the reasons is I want to get acquainted with Alaskan peoples. And the state is such a large state that it's really almost impossible to meet all of these different peoples, and Rawhigh allows me to do that through the students that we get from all over the state. And these are students who are coming up and who, in fact, if you're going to hone your teaching skills, those are the ones that I think help you hone them best.
Okay. What you're dealing with down here...
Dave Ringel has taught English and served as a consultant to other teachers in high schools on the lower Yukon River for 8 years.
I enjoy teaching Rawhigh. It's a good situation for a teacher to deal with students who are in the classroom to be motivated. The purpose is very specific. I'm given a lot of time to prepare, a lot of time to work individually, one-on-one with the students. And the class settings and the study halls just allow for a very intense contact with the students, and I see a lot of gain in the students.
To understand why the Rural Alaska Honors Institute was created, we need to better understand the cultural background of the young people who participate. The villages are small, and native culture so different from Western life. is still alive in many rural areas. Respect for elders, traditions of sharing and cooperation, and the extreme closeness of family and friends all combine to make for a difficult transition to the urban university experience. The isolation and hard life in the villages and limited educational programs also contribute to the need for a special bridging opportunity, such as Rawhide. A graduate of last summer's Rawhide program, Sharon Nicholas is enjoying time with her family at fish camp prior to entering UAF next month.
Caltech is my hometown, and nothing beats your hometown. And most of my family and friends are there, and I just like home. The school is small. We have about a total of 81 students, kindergarten through 12th grade. There's approximately 250 people living in Caltech. Moving into, Fairbanks is big to me because I don't know it. And the thing I didn't like most about Fairbanks is that I didn't know everybody. And I want to know everybody. That was scary. Well, the thing I like about fish camp is that there's always something to do. You're busy cutting the grass, cutting fish, cleaning all the willows and stuff off the way, fishing. It's different than being in town. You don't have to worry about the time or the date. I'm looking forward to doing good. What I'm looking forward to when I go to college is just working hard in school, because what I do in college is gonna affect my role in life. What I want to do most after I get my degree is come back to Caltech and teach. I want to come back to Caltech because I love Caltech. And most of all, I like the people, and I just want to help play a role in what the people of Caltech do.
Right now, probably I'd be fishing with my dad down at camp, king fishing. We do subsistence fishing because in the summer, during the winter months, usually when we get low on food, we have dry fish. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but we smoke the fish and we cut it. And usually, my mom likes to cut over 100. That's a lot of work for her, but she seems to enjoy it. Elders, to me, I have to respect them. And I was taught that, and they have something in them that's very valuable of what we can learn. And before we can be able to learn that, we have to learn how to respect them first. They have a lot more knowledge in themselves than we do. They know more things about the past than we do. We know what we've been taught in school. They know what they've been taught by nature and by their grandparents, things that we'll never be able to see or experience.
Most rural students must add new communication styles to succeed in the urban university community. Counselor and university student Larry Kayayuk.
Nonverbal communication plays a major part, a big part in the villages. For instance, in my village, whenever an elder speaks to you, you don't look at him directly in the eye, or you don't say anything. You just kind of look away when they speak to you. And if you look at them directly, that shows a sign of disrespect. Whereas in classes, I had to learn how to look at the instructor to show that I was listening, which we never do in a village. And I think I picked up most of the English from my older brothers and sisters who were in school, but I don't think I really started speaking until I entered kindergarten.
By coming to Rawhide, students must sacrifice summer vacation, family life at fish camp, and the best opportunity of the year to earn money through commercial fishing. What challenges do rural students face at Rawhide?
Well, when I first moved in, I wasn't so sure what to expect. I really didn't know who or where my roommate was from, and I wasn't so sure if we'd cooperate with each other, so I had to really watch myself and watch her also to see what I had to do in order to live with her.
I would like to give an award for the most improved Math 103 student, and I'd like to present this to Jolene John. She'll come forward.
Especially I like it when Raha is really challenging us students. I want a good job, good career for my future.
It is very challenging. To me, Raha is saying, do your best. Do the best of your ability. Go beyond what you normally can. Just do better than do 100%, 110%. That's what basically I'm saying.
Raha expects the best from you, and I'll have to try and give them my best. And that's what they want, and that's what I'm gonna have to give them.
These winds would pick up
The Honors Institute teachers offer a different perspective on what students get out of participating in Rawhide.
For the youngsters that are growing up in very traditional native communities, I think they want to help to retain their own native language and retain as much of their life ways as possible. And I think there's a lot more pride in many of these students about their own nativeness, which is good to see, because in the past, we've never had that.
For many of these kids, this is the first time they've been made aware of the high expectations and the amount of work they're going to need to succeed in college. They grow academically. There's a lot of maturity that goes on, learning how to handle the dorm situation, how to socialize with large groups of people. It makes a real impact on these students.
I think the most important thing that the students in Rawhide get is getting a taste of the academic life, the kind of housing situation that they will encounter once they get onto a very large university campus. And so they will be at least getting a taste of life on campus, and perhaps they'll have some rather untasty type of experiences, maybe like a little bit of racism. And that's something that we can't get away from no matter where we go.
The Honors Institute tries to bridge the gap between rural villages and the university by plunging students directly into a rigorous academic program. However, in Rawhide, the students have the advantage of a supportive faculty and staff.
The reason I choose to work with Rawhide students and Rawhide faculty is selfish, because it's such a great experience. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Once you start teaching for Rawhide, once you start working with the students, you're never the same person. It's a very constructive atmosphere. It brings out the best motivation that I've ever seen among faculty with different backgrounds. They collaborate well with one another. They work very specifically for the benefit of the students, not for themselves, and yet, ironically or paradoxically, it's excellent training for faculty.
And 50 dead on 150 grams.
Probably the biggest thing that students go home from Rawhide with is belief in themselves, a willingness to try something that before they were exposed to Rawhide, they might have been convinced they couldn't do it.
I almost dropped out after my junior year because of financial problems, and also I was getting pretty homesick. And if it hadn't been for the interest of a couple of people on the campus, I probably would have dropped out.
A critical factor in the success of students at the Honors Institute is the daily support of carefully selected and trained counselors who live with the students for the entire 6 weeks. Rocky Eddy from Sitka in southeast Alaska.
Since I graduated from Sitka High School in May of 1984, everything I've done has been geared and oriented towards helping pay for my education here in Fairbanks. That included 3 summer breaks from school and 2 Christmas vacation breaks from school, working at the Alaska Pulp Corporation pulp mill in Sitka. And I gave up working there this summer and opted for the experience I'm going to gain working with the high school kids here at the Rawhide program. The reason I'm working for Rawhide, I think I'll get a lot of practical experience dealing with people in a educational system. And I'm going to be working with hopefully 3rd or 4th graders when I teach, but I think any experience I get working with people is going to be a plus for me in the long run. I won't be making as much money as I would at the mill, but I think it's a time in my life I need to sacrifice those things and just go for the experience.
Sharon Nicholas has just completed her first semester at the University of Alaska, Fairbanks. She is doing very well, and her reflections on the Rawhide experience convey the feelings of many Honors Institute graduates.
When I first got onto campus, I was scared. I was just totally lost. The biggest problem I still have was getting to know the area, you know. What street am I on now? Something like that, and just not knowing all the people. That's what really scares me about being in a big place like Fairbanks, is that I don't know everybody. I don't know what they're like. Should I trust them? The things that helped me most in Rawhide was my time management skills and my study skills. Just basically making myself to sit down and study, read a couple pages, do some math problems. Probably wouldn't have been able to make it through this last semester. Now that I think back, I'm glad I went to Rawhide.
That's the truth. That's the whole truth.
A key factor in the success of rural students once they actually enter the university is the support they receive from advisors and other students through the Rural Student Services Department.
Rural Student Services attempts to help students coming to school at the University of Alaska Fairbanks by providing academic advising and helping them figure out which classes are appropriate to take that fit with their interests and their academic plans. We also get into personal counseling and work with the students as they adjust to the university campus. A big part of that is older students connecting to the new students who come in.
Well, the atmosphere here is totally different than the other places. Here you could go and laugh and cry if you really have to. And when you come in here, it's totally friendly, unlike other places.
I think that Rawhide gets students excited about education. The counselors in the district I worked at noticed that there were varied responses to many of the programs the students went to during the school year and during the summer when they left this district. But as a whole, the students coming back from Rawhide were excited about education. They came back with positive attitudes. And just to see a program provide a consistently positive experience for students is really good to see. And I think overall, the reputation of Rawhide and the results of Rawhide have been real positive.
An ice sheet, so more.
What kind of transformation have the Honors Institute graduates experienced? They have persevered. They have struggled under the heaviest workload of their lives and survived. Most importantly, they have experienced a taste of success. Armed with this knowledge, they are better equipped for the university and for life beyond. They have met the Rawhide Challenge.
It never ceases to amaze me how graciously and willingly students who have just spent 9 months in their junior year in high school will come to the campus and spend another 6 weeks of very intensive academic work. So that fact is not lost on all of us who work with you. We do admire you very much for that.
Let me comment a little bit on some of the expectations of the Rawhide program. Rural Alaska Honors Institute. You are among Alaska's best and brightest. As such, you have a bit of an obligation that extends a little further than other students. You have some obligation to lead. We're seeking to attract people who will be responsible for the corporate development of Alaska, including your regional and village corporations. And we're seeking, of course, to impact the field of education so that those of you from rural areas who understand rural students, can motivate the next generation to follow you.
I, too, want to add my congratulations to each one of you for completing this interesting and exciting and important program. I hope that this means that you've completed another milestone in your educational and personal development career. We are excited at the Regents level about this program as a running start, if you would, to hopefully see each of you come back to the university or some university, come back to the Fairbanks campus and complete 4 to 5 years of higher education that we believe in the Native community is important to you, to your family, to our state, and indeed to our country.
There were times I wasn't sure if I'd make it through the morning, let alone the whole 6 weeks, so it's kind of a big accomplishment for me. I've learned a lot while I've been here, how to write a research paper and a bunch of the trig things that Mr. Moore taught me. I hope I remember. But the thing I've learned the most is how important my friends are.
I'd like to congratulate all you Rawhiders. You've met the challenge. You should feel proud of yourselves. You went through a lot. I'd like to say that each and every one of you has the potential to succeed in college. You just demonstrated that right here by participating in Rawhide and making it through.
Funding for the production of Challenge Yourself has been provided by NANA Regional Corporation, Cook Inlet Region Incorporated, the Siri Foundation, and by the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation.